Hi there folks, hopefully you're well. Now today I want to talk to you about something that I hold pretty close to my heart when it comes to trading the Forex markets or the currency markets. For those of you that watch my weekly Monday morning reports that we talk about the opportunities for the week ahead, you'll often hear me refer to this very early on, and it is the currency strength meter. Quite frankly, I don't understand how anyone can trade the Forex markets without having something like this in their tool bag. I've been trading with a currency strength meter now, I would say, for about 10 years. Had mine coded for me personally by some coder out there in Europe. Cost me quite a lot of money in the time before all the MT4 coders were about. Now, this day and age, there are plenty of places where you can get your hands on one of these as well. Of course, inside our trading room, we also give it away free, which you can try it at any time you like. It's a 7-day free trial. I've aptly named mine the momentum meter, because it basically does exactly as it says on the tin. It shows me where the momentum is going in a particular currency. You know, when we're trading a currency, it's basically two transactions going on. You've got one currency pitched against another currency. And if you're following trends, you want to buy a strong currency and you want to sell a weak currency to get that edge in the market. And as you know, trading is all about getting that edge. Here's a quick glimpse of what it looks like. Here you'll see at the moment this red line up there. That is the Swiss franc. At this moment, on this particular time frame, you can see there's money piling into the Swiss franc. And you see here the green line heading down. That's the US dollar. You see money flowing out of the US dollar. Surely Swiss against the US dollar, there's something going on there at the moment. All right, what I want to do now is jump onto the screens. I'm going to show you exactly the ways that you can use a currency strength meter. So hopefully then you can put it into your tool bag and trade with a better edge. Come on, let's go. Okay, so here we are. This is the currency strength meter, or as I call it, the momentum meter. I had this coded, as I say, many years ago. There's basically two ways that you can calculate this. I'm going to talk about the other way in a moment. But basically, what this is showing us, it's basically showing us the relationship between one currency and the other currencies in the basket. Now, what I'm doing here, and most currency in meters will be the same, will basically have the main 8 currencies. You may have some out there that will have the exotics as well. But for me, what I see here on the main 8 is enough. And the lines may look all confusing, may look like spaghetti junction, but it's actually telling us quite a lot of information. It tells us how a particular currency is performing against the other currencies, as I say, in that basket. Now, what this version works on are basically moving averages. Now, without going into too much detail of how I got this coded up, you'll see here the center line. That basically is the 20 moving average. My default is 20, but you can change this as well in most of the settings. The default is 20. These currencies, their position on this chart is their deviation away from the 20 moving average against the US dollar, which, as you know, is the most actively traded currency on the planet with about 88% of all transactions. So you'll see anything that's above the line is a currency that has a moving average above the 20 moving average on against the US dollar. Anything below the line, that currency is the deviation below the 20 moving average against the US dollar. And again, at this juncture, if you don't know what moving averages are, you can always go and research that. I've got some videos out there on the channel here about moving averages. This box here on the left, I put this on as well, just to give me a first sort of insight to where the currencies are on the multi-time frames. This chart here is the 4-hour chart, but I can see quickly by a glance here, like for example, the euro, which also has the color key here, by the way, the euro is above on all the time frames. That basically shows me that the momentum is strong for the euro against all the different time frames. You look here, the New Zealand dollar, it's red against all the different time frames. That basically means it's below the line on all time frames, meaning there's weakness coming into the New Zealand dollar, and you can see that by the direction of the lines. Now, the important thing I think that you should focus on when you're looking at a strength meter is not necessarily are they all above the line or all below the line, but what you should be looking at is the direction of travel, where they've come from in the past. Take a look at this chart at the moment. This is the 4-hour chart. And you can see here this green line, color coding over here. Green, I've actually colored it green for the greenback, is the US dollar. You'll see that over the 4-hour chart, in the last, say, 2 days, there's been solid push higher for the US dollar because the line has been coming from an area of weakness, pointing up almost at a 45-degree angle here to an area of strength. So there's momentum now behind the US dollar. Look here, this purple line, back over to the key here, is the Canadian dollar. You'll see the Canadian dollar has come from an area of strength into an area of weakness. So the Canadian dollar has been softening and the US dollar has been gaining in momentum. That could mean that the dollar against the CAD has got some bullish momentum. And as trend followers, we like to get into bullish momentum by buying the strong currencies and selling the weak currencies. Or of course, the other way around, if you're looking for a sell trade, you sell the weak currencies and you buy the strong currencies. Because as you know, remember, a Forex transaction has two trades going on. One currency pitched against the other. Now, as I say, this is the moving average version. You can also see some strength meters out there that basically work with a different calculation. I'll just quickly point that out to you now. Okay, so this is the index version. Slightly different way that we calculate the strength and weakness of the different currencies. I call it the index version because it basically is pitching one currency against the basket of 8. So what you'll see here, for example, on this time frame, this is the 1 hour chart. You'll see that the euro is the strongest currency and the Canadian dollar and the New Zealand dollar are the weakest currencies. Pretty much like we saw a moment ago on the moving average version. So they pretty much show the same. But how this works is basically it takes this level back here as ground zero. At that time, everything was equal. And as time progresses, it takes the value of one currency and compares it with the other 7 currencies in the basket, adds them all up, divides by 7, and basically comes up to where this line is at the moment. There you go, giving all my trade secrets away of how I got this coded, but that's absolutely fine. I want to make sure that you know exactly what is going on under the hood, as so to speak. So here, for example, this is the 1 hour chart 60 hours ago. We're back down here. Here is the current view. If you trade this, if you switch this back, say, to the minute chart, okay, it gives us time to work out. This basically is 1 hour. So an hour ago, everything started exactly here at 0. In the last 60 minutes, 1 hour, you'll see that the Canadian dollar has been strong. Remember, this is an hourly chart now as opposed to the longer time frame we saw a moment ago. And the British pound is the weakest. This is really cool, really, really useful if you're looking to scalp the market. Scalping the market, as you may know, is when you're trading on the lower time frame charts, maybe the 5-minute chart or even the 15-minute chart. What's happening on the 1 hour currency meter really, really is important. If I was now scalping the markets, I would seriously be looking at Canadian dollar strength against the British pound weakness. Again, looking at the trajectory of the line, not necessarily just above or below, but where they have come from to where they are going. And of course, as trend followers with scalp, then clearly you want to sell the weakest currencies and buy the strongest currencies. So that's basically the index version. It shows you pretty much the same as the moving average version, but those are the two different versions. So there are basically 3 ways that you can use the currency strength meter to aid your trading, to give you that edge. That's obviously with trend, counter trend, and also for range trading markets as well. Let's first off look at the trend market. Here you'll see the momentum meter. I've got it on the 4 hour chart at the moment. So what I'm seeing here at the moment is a weakening of the Canadian dollar. The purple line on the 4 hour chart is coming from an area of strength into an area of weakness. It's almost the weakest currency on the basket. And on the other side of that, you've got the Japanese yen, this brown line in here at the moment, showing some strength, moving in a positive direction. That means that on the higher time frame charts, the direction of this is to sell the CAD and buy the Japanese yen for trend continuation. Let's have a quick look at the CAD yen price chart now. So this is the CAD against the Japanese yen on the 1 hour time frame, on the lower time frame. You've seen the higher time frame, the CAD was weaker and the yen was stronger. So we're maybe only looking for sell trades now in the CAD yen. Now, as with all indicators, you never use them as a standalone, but used in conjunction with other price action, support, resistance, and so forth. So this is the 1 hour chart. You see at the moment we are making a series of lower highs and lower lows, indicating that this trend is now turning down on itself. You may want to put in a bit of support and resistance in there. At the moment we are seeing this level being reactive as a support zone, bounced off it there, bounced off it there. We're now coming back into this old support, acting as resistance. We know that the momentum is lower for the CAD. We know it's higher for the Japanese yen. We know that the edge, the bias for this now is for potential continuation of this trend down, because the momentum on the higher time frames is pushing us that way. So I don't know, of course, how we're going to play out here. This is live at the time of recording. I'll keep an eye on it. But it does show you, you've got an edge there by buying a strong currency and selling a weaker currency on the higher time frame and trading price action off the lower time frame with that bias in mind. So that's basically how you could use the strength meter for trend following as well. Okay, so now let's look at an example of how you could use the momentum meter for counter trends. That's basically looking for reversals. You'll see here the blue line. This is the euro. It's been in a period of strength and it's heading up. And you see the Australian dollar, well, flat to negative bias. But now more recently, there's been a shift. The lines are now converging. Converging on each other basically means that the maybe market is going to turn. Maybe a strong currency is becoming now weak and a weak currency is now becoming strong. Therefore, a potential reversal is happening. So selling the euro, buying the Oz now is a potential trend reversal shaping up. Let's have a quick look at that now. Okay, so this is the 1 hour chart of the euro against the Oz. You can see we've been in a nice uptrend, and now you're seeing the change in momentum on the momentum meter, indicating that this trend may now want to reverse. Certainly that's what the momentum is showing. So it gives you maybe early warning signs that two currency pairs are now reversing on themselves. A currency that was strong is now turning weaker, and a currency that was weak is now turning stronger. Again, giving you the edge. Doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen, but trading is all about having an edge and exploiting that edge over time. And this can give you early warning signs of that type of trade. Of course, you don't take these blindly. You use again with other price action as well. Seeing a bit of a pullback in here into potentially 50% of that zone could indicate that this is now a move to the downside, which is more likely. So that is basically how you use the currency strength meter for counter trend trading. Okay, so finally, let's have a quick look how you can use the strength meter to help find markets that are ranging. So that's basically meaning not in trend, not in counter trend, but sticking into a range. Look here now, it might be a little bit hard for you to see here, but what I want you to focus on here is the white line. Now the white line, look where my mouse is at the moment, the white line is basically the British pound. Okay, so it's moving in this direction here. But what you'll notice here is the blue line is pretty much moving with it. It's moving in conjunction, moving down with the white line. Okay, so you can see it is basically following. So the blue and the white, that's the euro and the pound, are basically tracking each other at the moment. Let's have a quick look indeed at that price chart now. So this indeed is the euro against the pound on the 1 hour time frame chart. You can see here at the moment we have broken into basically consolidation. We're not moving up and not moving down. There's a range there of about 40 pips. This market is said to be in range at the moment. So if you are looking for a range bound market, maybe that market there is something you might want to look at by selling tops and buying bottoms while those two currency pairs are moving pretty much in sync with each other. Now this is live recording. There are better examples that I could have done, but the momentum meter is live. What I encourage you to do is get your hands on a currency strength meter and play it out for yourself. There's absolutely so many ways that you can use the momentum meter to gain that all important edge in the markets. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. Hopefully now you can see the power of using a currency strength meter or momentum meter in your trading, the edge that it will give you. Now, as I say, you can access these from various places, or you can come over to our site and have a play with ours. Just come over, take a 7-day free trial. Description tab below will lead you there. Don't forget to leave me a comment as well. Let me know what you think. If you found one that you're using, I'll be interested to hear that as well. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification. That way you'll be notified the next video release, and that will be, of course, on Monday, where I pull up my momentum meter, showing you potential trading opportunities for the week ahead. And of course, follow us on all the socials as well. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good week.